Hello, hello. So, AETHER OS is very quickly becoming the global gold standard for AI ethics and governance, and it's because we have and we do what no one else does. And my design thinking was that if the intelligence is artificial, then what governs it and what keeps it ethical, what holds it accountable, actually has to be rooted in something fundamentally different. That it couldn't just be more technology or another algorithm checking an algorithm, but it needed to be something deeper, something actually ancestral, framework built from centuries of human wisdom, ethical precedent, and the understanding that every single decision AI makes touches a real person, a real community, a real future. And that is what AETHER OS is built on. And that is why no one else can do what we do. So, hi everyone, I'm Jasmine Hall. I am the founder and CEO of AETHER OS. We are the only company with proprietary AI ethics scoring technology, a purpose-built governance platform that combines 6 scoring engines, a RAG architecture trained on ethical precedent and legal history, and we also offer fractional chief AI officer support. So we don't just flag what's wrong, we tell you why it's wrong, what it will cost you, and exactly how to fix it. And no one else is doing this. And ultimately, the root of the problem across every industry is that AI is already making consequential decisions across people, capital, access, and opportunity. And organizations deploying it have no infrastructure to verify whether it's actually making the right call. So there's no audit trail, no accountability, no one actually asking the hard questions like, how do you know this is correct? So I want to show you really quick what this actually looks like. I ran a sample AI ethics audit, a pre-raised governance assessment that was modeled on a real Series B scenario for an international fractional CFO and CPA firm. So we assessed 5 AI systems embedded in a fintech company's core operations. What the platform found was extremely concerning. So their credit decisioning AI, making loan decisions on 240 million in annual origination, scored a 28 out of 100 on our right relationship engine, ultimately being labeled as extractive. So the model had been trained on lending records from 2008 to 2018, and the data carried historical red line patterns. It learned to treat zip codes as the primary credit risk signal, systematically denying credit to applicants in majority minority neighborhoods, regardless of individual credit worthiness. And then our temporal depth modeling didn't just flag the present harm, it traced the generational consequence. So rejected applicants can't build credit history, their children inherit reduced access to capital, all from one biased AI system compounding harm across generations silently, automatically, and at scale. So that one system created regulatory exposure of 5 million to 50 million under the Equal Credit Opportunity Act and the Fair Housing Act alone. And the DOJ settled with Trustmark National Bank in 2023 for 98 million for the same pattern. So 3 systems in total: the credit engine, the hiring AI, and the client risk profiler carried combined unmitigated exposure of $8.5 to $90 million for this company. Mind you, this audit was in the context of them in their Series B raise, and no one had caught this until AETHER OS ran the audit. So there were 2 of the 5 systems that had scored an 83 and a 79 out of 100, being labeled as regenerative, actively protecting clients, compounding positive outcomes, and AETHER OS flagged those as assets for investor materials, because ultimately the governance isn't only about catching what's wrong, it's about proving what's right as well. So this is really the proof that responsible AI is real and buildable. And just because AI is thinking doesn't mean it's thinking correctly. And if the intelligence is artificial, then what governs it has to be real, has to be accountable, has to be rooted in something that actually understands what's at stake for people. And that is AETHER OS. So if you are an advisor